Okay, one of the biggest issues I find when people are trying to send me sessions is that they forget the audio files. And whether it's Pro Tools, Logic Pro, Ableton Live, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do when you send a project file to an engineer, whether they're mixing or mastering, stem mastering, maybe they're producing on the track, etc., and you just want to share that actual session. You have to have all of the assets with that session. So here's what it looks like. Most of the time I get sessions from people that are a little bit more green to the industry. I get 813 audio files are missing, right? And I can hit automatically find and relink, but if the audio files are not included in the package, it'll never find these audio files. So what does that mean? That means that the folder that you have here, which this is the session folder. If I open the session folder, you're going to have the session, which is the .ptx. In Logic, it would just be the .logic file. I don't know what it's called, but I forget. And then you have an audio files folder here. And you can notice here, if I try to collapse this audio files folder or even go into it, there's nothing in it. So when the PTX file says, hey, go look for those audio files, this is what it gives me. So how do you get around this when you're sitting here at your session and say all these audio files were populated before you send anything to the mix engineer or anyone you're collaborating with? You're going to want to go up to File here. You're going to go to Save Copy In, and you will go to Session Latest. That's fine. Sometimes people are on older versions of Pro Tools. I wouldn't worry about that now. It's 2022. Just leave it on Session Latest. You're going to make sure the sample rate is the same as the session, which it'll default to. Whatever the default bit depth is that you had, leave it on that. That's all fine. The most important thing here is to copy the audio files here. And you can see it says items to copy audio files. If you're just sending main playlist only, I highly recommend you select main playlist. That means whatever's in your Logic session right now, that's all it's going to copy, rather than all the chops and all the edits and all the crap that you maybe need to get rid of in your session. So just main playlist only is typically pretty good. And then you want to hit OK. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you where do you want to put this? I typically would just put it on the desktop and leave it as copy of and hit save. And then what that'll do is it'll give you a folder on your desktop or wherever you put it. And it'll give you this folder. And that folder will have the audio files in it. Now, this only saved one audio file because that's the only thing that was in this session. But if all of these audio files were on separate drives and they're separate places, etc., it will take all those audio files and go and build that folder for your mix engineer. And this is what you need to send to me if I'm going to mix or work on a project with you. And typically you just take that and you would zip that up, right? You go to compress and you compress that with all the audio files, and then you drag and drop that onto Dropbox, WeTransfer, etc., and send it over. So that's really the easy way about it. This happens all the time. It's a very common thing. I get sessions from people that they want me to mix their session or jump into their Pro Tools session, all that stuff, and it's missing audio files. So just save, copy as, that's it. Just file, save, copy in, and then you're going to select the audio files. And make sure the audio files folder is populated when you finally go to this folder. If there's one audio file in that folder, you know you did something wrong. If you're uploading a package, and maybe you could even just look at how big the package is, right? So this zip right here is 41 megabytes. That's crazy. Let's imagine your session was 100 tracks. There's no way it would be 41 megabytes. It would be at least a gig, right? So just make sure you check those things out, and that's how you do it. Just save, copy as. Hope it helps.